Colt, so Coach names you or tells you that you're going in at halftime. Kind of take us through how that all went down.
Well, he just walked over to me and said, we're going to go with you to start the second half. Get ready. And that was it.
What was going through your mind? How did you feel about that? Did you feel ready? Did you think that there was a chance that was going to happen during that first half?
Yeah. Well, all I know is my responsibility on this team is to always be ready to play. And it goes unnoticed a lot, but I can feel like every week I'm prepared to play even though I don't get any reps. Our coaches do a great job getting Robert and Kirk and I all three ready to play. Hats off to them. I spend a lot of time with Sean and Jay during the week just making sure I understand our game plan and what we're looking for and areas we're wanting to attack and watch Kirk in practice and see where he's going with the ball. And when he told me at halftime, I just was thankful for the opportunity and I just wanted to go out there and play to the best of my ability and lead my team and this team to a victory, and we were able to accomplish that.
Colt, it's needless to say it's been a while since you've played significant minutes since you've thrown a touchdown pass. Could you, I guess, talk about your journey to this point, the work you put in anonymously, as you say, the last 2 or 3 years?
Yeah. Well, it's this league is very unforgiving, and I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to still be able to play. It didn't work out in Cleveland. I learned a lot of football last year in San Francisco. And when I became a free agent, I played against Jay a lot when I was in Cleveland. He was in Cincinnati. I know Andy Dalton. I liked the offense that he ran. They were always efficient. And, when they called me and said, hey, we already have 2 quarterbacks, but we'd like for you to come here and compete. And, you never know what happens. I decided just to do that instead of wait on anything else. And the good Lord, I think, just takes care of me, and just thankful that I'm here.
Colt, I guess you could have walked out there after halftime and kind of got lost in the moment a little bit, but you started off with, I believe, 1 running play and then the pass to Pierre. How much did that kind of just turn around and say, at the very least for your own confidence, hey, you know what, I can do this. I'm back in the game. This is it. Yeah.
I like Jay a lot, and when Jay came and told me to be ready to play, I just didn't want to let him down. You always got to be ready to play, and if he goes with you and you go in there and turn the ball over or don't start fast or don't win the game or don't play well, that just doesn't look good. And like I said, this is huge for our team. This team is much better than 2-5. There's so many good guys in this locker room. There's so much talent in this locker room. Hopefully this win will spur on some momentum for us, and maybe we can get on a roll here and get back in the hunt. I just truly believe that this team is capable of doing that.
Colt, could you talk about your emotions when you saw Pierre breaking free, running for the end zone, and then your emotions when the PI gets called in the last minute there?
Yeah. I didn't know Pierre was that fast, first of all. I told him that in the locker room, too. But Pierre is such an easy target to throw to. He has great body control. Threw a little back shoulder hitch route to him, and he made the play to put us up. And so hats off to him. He's a great player. And then at the end of the game, I knew they were going to come after us. I got sacked earlier on one of the same blitzes, so I was able to recognize that. We got into a pretty heavy protection, kept the tight end in, and I threw one-on-one with Deshaun. He's one of the best players in the league, and I thought I threw a good ball. I wondered why we didn't come down with it, and it was PI. So, at that point, we're down in field goal range. You just want to hold on to the ball, take care of the ball, and let Kai go out there and do his thing.
Kurt, Colt, you don't have
Sorry,
reps with these guys.
Everybody calls me Kurt sometimes, too.
You don't get reps with these guys, but what was the key to having that rhythm and timing with them, only 1 inning completion out there?
You know what? I told a couple of guys that are on practice squad in there, I really appreciate that they've helped me get to this point. I spend a lot of time with those guys after practice throwing routes. They're willing to stay out there and do it for me. We do a lot of reps in scout team. And sometimes offenses overlap, so I'll get a few of the same looks when I run a scout team that we would as our offense, but it's very rarely the same. But, just staying at it. It's been 2 years. I don't want to get emotional, but I'm just thankful that I hung in there and kept fighting. I love this game, and I love this team, and I love our coaches, and we still have a chance.
Colt, on Tennessee's final possession, they had a 1st and 20, and they ran 3 running plays. It was almost as if they were saying, we don't think you guys can move down the field on us. Do you notice that? And if you do you take it personally and want to prove a point?
Well, I don't take it personally. I mean, their coaches are pretty smart, too. They know we're down to a backup who's never taken a rep, and let's make him go win the game. And it wasn't me. It was our offense. We were efficient. We got completions, made some big plays, and marched right down the field. And I'm just thankful to be a part of it. I thought the plays were called great, and we executed. And now we're 2-5. And like I said earlier, I hope that we can create some momentum with this and move forward.
Jay was here earlier and said that you've been a great teammate and been very supportive for Robert and Kirk. And just now in the locker room, you had a nice moment with Robert. Is that something maybe on the outside people don't see, that you guys, even though you're competing with each other, you're still close friends?
Yeah, let me tell you something. Kirk is one of the most outstanding guys I've ever been around. And I don't want to take anything away from him. I've learned some from him. I felt like I've helped him a little bit in a way, watching some tape with him. And I do the same thing for Robert. Robert is awesome. He's fun to be around. He works really hard. I mean, the guy's probably almost back from a foot injury that not many guys could maybe even come back from. So I'm privileged to be around those guys and in the meeting room with those guys. And I am the oldest, so sometimes I feel like I can bring a little bit to the table that may help them. I've played a lot in this league, just hadn't in the last 2 years. So I don't know where we're going to go from here, but I hope as a team we can move forward. Winning a game like that always gives you a little bit of momentum, and I hope we can keep going.
Colt, it's obviously a tough day for Kirk. I wonder if you have a moment. Do you guys share a moment? Is there anything said? Does anything need to be said? How do you handle that situation?
Not really. I mean, Kirk is a competitor just like we all are. It hurts for him. It would hurt for me. It would hurt for anybody in that situation. But Kirk's also a team player, and I know he's happy that we came out with a victory.
You guys get in the huddle about 3:27 left, down by 1. Did you say anything to the guys, or did you just go in and call the play?
I didn't really have to say much. I just knew we had a couple timeouts available if we needed them. And I just told the guys, I looked them in the eye and said, hey, I'm going to do my job, you do yours, and we'll go win this game.
You were mentioning the moments after the game, too. You were talking with Sean there for a moment at the locker. What was he telling you?
Who's that?
With McVay there at the locker just a couple moments ago. What was he?
He was just excited.
Yeah.
Sean's a great coach. I like Sean's ability to stay poised when he's calling plays. I hear Sean's voice in the headsets. Jay calls the plays, but they're both poised. They gave me a lot of confidence as I went out for that last drive, and that's what you got to do in this league. I mean, you just got to win the game in the fourth quarter. That's what it comes down to, and we were fortunate to do that today.
If you're called upon to start, what do you think about that opportunity, and what do you think your excitement level, your week of preparation, what would that be like for you?
Well, I'd like to say it'd be a little bit different, but I always say that I put in the time as if I was a starter every week. Even though I don't get reps, I spend a lot of time there in the building watching tape, doing the things that I'll have to do to get myself prepared. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know Jay mentioned Robert might be back ready to play, and if he is, I'm sure he'll go. But who knows? I mean, for me, my approach is just going to get ready for the Cowboys, and whatever happens, happens.
I'm just curious, Colt, how many passes would you have thrown to Pierre in a team drill, or when was the last time you would have done that?
Yeah, I really don't throw to those guys.
Yeah.
That's reserved for the starter. I'll get a few routes on air with them before the game or before practice sometimes, just to stay in rhythm with those guys. A lot of things that I do is just watch, but you know what? That's universal. That's universal for all backup quarterbacks, and you just have to be ready to go out there and compete and play when your number's called.
Maybe a training camp that you were in that?
Maybe a little bit, but again, that was the first time stepping in the huddle with those guys for me since I've been here, and I'm proud of those guys. I mean, that's got to be tough for them, hearing a new snap count, a new cadence, a new guy calling the plays. For them to hang in there with me, I felt like was a positive for sure.
Colt, you hear a lot about quarterbacks, especially who don't have a lot of experience, maybe having their confidence shaken if they don't have success and they're pulled out. How do you think this will affect Kirk's confidence? And do you think there's something different about the quarterback position where we hear talk about quarterbacks' confidence when they're young players as opposed to tackles or linebackers or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I don't like speaking on Kirk's behalf, but Kirk does a great job every week of preparing. He works really hard. All the guys love him. If I was going to back up somebody, backing up him was fine. We got along great. We worked well together, and it's tough. When you're trying to win a game, sometimes maybe you press a little too much, and he's had some unlucky, picks and balls bounce the wrong way a couple times, and that happens in this league, and he will bounce back from it. He will be stronger from it, and not only me but everybody else. I know that we had full confidence in Kirk every week to go out there and play well, and Robert's the same way. I mean, if I back up Robert and do the same thing with him, we have a great relationship.
Is there something about the quarterback position where people talk about the confidence of young players in that position versus others?
I mean, when you throw a pick, that always messes with your mind. It's like a pitcher getting a home run hit off of him. How are you going to respond? And it's tough. It's tough. A lot of guys handle it different ways, and I'm just glad that our team was able to come out in the second half and play well. Our defense played well, and our offense was able to respond and go win the game, and hopefully we can carry that on.
Colt, two things. You know the whole game plan, but how much of it is it realistic to use with a guy going in that spot? And in the last drive, talk about how much pressure they brought on you and how you managed to cope with it and others helped you cope with it.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed the drive before our last drive because they got a blitz that hit home on me. I had to flush out of the pocket the first time, and then the second time they kind of had all our guys covered, and it was really a coverage sack. But I got to see the blitz. It's the first time I've seen it live. And when we marched down the field, they brought it once, and then on the PI to Deshaun, they brought it again. And like I said, I was able to get to a max protection and throw a one-on-one route with Deshaun. So what was a negative early in the game or the drive before, I felt like it was good for me to see because we adjusted. And
So it's the third time you've seen that blitz back.
It was two different blitzes, but the same one hit home the drive before, which we blocked the second time.
Thanks, Colt.
All right. Thanks, guys.